Hello YouTube, this is Darkstar. This video is my first, maybe it'll end up being my last, hopefully not though. The video that I'm making has quite a bit to do with some of the rationalist atheist debates I've seen on YouTube. Now, I'm a person who, for a long time, was a Christian. I still felt that evolution was the more accurate one, mostly because they had fossils, scientific evidence, etc. to back their evidence up, as opposed to be blunt, the suppositions of people living during a period of technological lack, shall we say. Now, here's the thing. I considered myself a Christian for a long time, but I'm having more and more trouble considering myself that. The main problem is that while I agree with a lot of things in the Christian doctrines, social justice, love your neighbor, love your enemy, show forgiveness, be merciful, be kind, help the poor, work for justice, I have some issues with all other parts of the doctrine, and with some people who I would consider who I could call fellow Christians. One of the things is, this is one of the problems I've got, I guess, is that so many of the creationists have a apparently compulsive need to either lie or misinform, or just seem to be very willfully ignorant about certain things. But they're people. A person is not representative of their faith per se, i.e., a bad person can be Christian. That doesn't mean that all Christians are bad. A good person can be Christian. That doesn't mean all Christians are good. It's true of any group. But when they're representing others, it's a little disconcerting. But one of the actual problems I've got is doctrinal. It's this. According to the Scripture, you need Jesus to achieve salvation and not be tormented forever and ever and ever. Now, here's my problem. God is apparently all-knowing, all-seeing, and all-good. Well, if God is all-knowing, then He knew that there would be no way whatsoever for the Christian missionaries to reach certain places, North and South America, Australia, etc., because they didn't have the technology or even the knowledge of these locations. Now, whatever you want to say about the nature of sin, saying, well, they're not going to hell for not, necessarily for not getting the Scripture, they're going to hell for sin. Okay, but they weren't necessarily informed that they were sinning. They, in fact, were functionally, willfully cut off from salvation by God, because God put Jesus in at such a time that they could not be reached. Now, even if you want to say, well, God doesn't put people in hell, if I say I take all of you and I put you on a boat, and without any of you knowing, I have made so the boat is going to slowly leak, i.e., a lot of you are going to die. The boat's going to sink. It's going to take people with it. Now, I have placed a certain number of lifeboats and other things on the ship so that people can get off safely, except I only tell a certain number of people. And I make it so that they cannot communicate with other people on the boat. There is no way for them to reach them. Now, I think you would argue that I have guaranteed the death of certain people, that in fact what I have done was cruel, inhuman, etc. This is the problem that I have. If one of you can give me a reasonable counter-argument, if one of you wants to, feel free. This is Darkstar signing off.